Welcome everybody again. A lot of people are coming in. Some people said they wanted to catch the replay. That's also fine. This is going to be a little bit just, really relax. I just really, like I told you in my email, those of you who get my emails, I felt like I was answering so many of the same questions, and it was important for me that everybody got these answers. And of course, so I have a lot of questions that have come in that I want to address. And of course, I encourage you to also put in the chat any questions that you might have, and I will also do my best to answer those. But first of all, welcome, Beth. I think she's joining. Chaya, Cherry, Irene, Jillian, Robin, Irmi. Welcome everybody again. I want to ask you, tell me in the chat, who caught the webinar on Monday that we did with Jewish Workshops? It was a fabulous webinar. Thank you to everybody who's given me feedback. I just want to make sure if you guys caught it, whether it be live or whether it had been on the replay that that you may have received, only because I want to make sure that I don't repeat a lot of the same things if most of you already watched it. If you haven't watched it, I'm putting here the replay as well. Yes, you can still watch the replay. Let me let Bailey in. You can definitely still watch the replay. I'm putting it. Robin, you watch it. Great. And I got a tremendous amount of feedback. So maybe from some of you, thank you very much. It is very, very worth your while. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it, Chaya. If you haven't watched it, I encourage you to make a little time if you can and watch it, because it's going to be available till tonight, 11:59 Eastern time. And there's a tremendous amount of value right there. So it seems like, did the majority watch it? Again, I just want to ask again, have you watched the replay of the webinar or live? I just want to make sure that give me a yes or a no in the chat so that I know. Live, that's fine. Give me a yes or a no. No, I haven't watched it. Okay, yes. Okay, great. So it seems like, okay. Yes, I'm getting some direct messages. Okay, so it seems like many of you have watched it. So great. So I'm going to try to not super repeat myself and make sure that we also get a ton of value from today's call. Like I was saying, if you just joined me, I'm going to address a lot of the questions that came in that I felt were repeating themselves and were important. I felt it important that many people got the answer, and I'm also going to address your questions. But I actually want to start with something really fun. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see something. Let me see if I can share my screen. I also want to welcome Jillian from Jewish Workshops, who I think is here, and I will make you a co-host very soon. Okay, let me just try to share my screen here. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to put this up on the screen. You guys see this hot pink image? Yes, everybody sees it? Tell me on the chat if we're good, because sometimes technology. I'm getting direct messages here. You get the extension? Will I be? I don't know, Chaya, if you want. I don't manage that. You would have to maybe send a direct message right now to Jillian Merrill in the call. I'm pretty sure, it's kind of standard policy and that it expires tonight, but please feel free to address Jillian if you feel like you really need an extension or for whatever reason or whatever. But I can't tell you about that. I do know for a fact that they are putting it down tonight at 11:59 Eastern time. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You guys see this image, right? You guys see profit, purpose. You see the Venn diagram. So I said it to my newsletter, but not all of you are coming from my newsletter. Maybe you came through a friend or social media, or I don't know, or Jewish Workshops. So if you haven't received my emails, you probably did not see this morning, but I sent this out very early today. And I asked my subscribers to caption this. And I got really cute answers, and some of them I'm going to share with you. So what we're going to do right now is, now you have this image in front of you. I want you to caption this. If you had this image to post, what would be your caption? Go. I see some smiles, so that's good. Put it in the chat. What's a caption? Let's see the creativity. And if you're shy and don't want to put it out to everybody in the group, just send it to me directly. I want to see some captions. Let's see that creativity. Let's see that we're here to think about this concept, profit and purpose. How would you caption this? I see Blanca thinking, putting her thinking cap. I was surprised I didn't get an answer from you earlier this morning. Come on, guys. I want to see some captions. Everybody's being very quiet here today. I'm going to tell you how I would caption it, but first I want to, yes. Somebody said, I replied to that email. Yes. In fact, I'm going to share what you wrote. I believe this one is yours. I hope I didn't get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that somebody here on this call wrote, you get a gold star when your profit and purpose are aligned. I think that was you. That was one of the ones that came in. You get a gold star when your profit and purpose are aligned. Oh, I got it right. Okay. You should know, like, that's a testament to my memory, because there were a lot of emails that came in. I didn't bring on all of them, but actually yours made it to the list. You get a gold star when your profit and purpose are aligned. That was really nice. Somebody said, am I getting any? I'm not getting any captions from this group, and I got a ton of emails. What's happening here? I got a ton of emails this morning. I couldn't bring them all. But yours made it. You got a gold star when your profit and your purpose are aligned. Somebody said, what's your sweet spot? And then somebody said something very interesting that I kind of want to address. And they said like this, they said the intersection of profit, purpose, and passion. The intersection of profit, purpose, and passion. And it stood out to me. And I was like, no, that wouldn't be my caption. I mean, it was a very good try, but it wouldn't be my caption. And here's why I want to address that one in particular. This whole term passion, I don't really know what that means. Can somebody tell me what that means? I mean, you could be passionate. I could be passionate about so many things. Anybody who knows me knows I'm very passionate about color, for example. Like if you see my house, if you see the way I dress, like everything in my life is colorful. Maybe because I grew up in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Like, does that mean I do something with color? Yeah, I used to be an interior designer once upon a time. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that means, right? So it's not about passion. Remember when we did that exercise, those of you who were with me or you watched the replay, we were talking about to build a business and make it sustainable. We want to look at the intersection of four things. We want to look at the intersection of what do I love to do, right? That's not a passion. I don't know what passion is. I mean, you could have a passion. I have a passion for chocolate, like literally almost like an obsession with dark chocolate. That doesn't mean I make my business out of dark chocolate. It could, but not necessarily. Right? So what do I love to do? What am I good at doing? By the way, notice the word doing here. We're gonna mention this time and time again, the word doing, action. Okay. What does the world need? And what does the world pay for? So when this came to me, yes, it's the intersection of profit and purpose. Passion, this doesn't make it. It was not a three-circle Venn diagram, right? Because you could have a passion for many, many things. Like, I don't know, I'm passionate about my family. I'm passionate about my children. I don't know. I think we have to get this clear, because it's almost like, and there's a lot of narrative about this whole passion thing. Follow your passion, follow your passion. I really don't know what that means. And I also feel like it could borderline in, it's about me, right? It's about me and my feeling, my passion, right? No. This is about what God gave you, that now you have an obligation to put out in the world, right? So we start seeing that when we get that four-part combination. Yes, you're right. Tavia is right. Welcome, Tavia. It could be that when people say the passion, they mean what you love to do 100%. But I just always want to make sure that we know that, right? It's not just, it's not just follow your bliss. It's yes, follow your bliss in a way that it's needed, right? That you're serving others. So I just wanted to make that clarifying point. Okay. Anybody want to give it a shot? How would you caption it? I'm going to tell you. Oh, somebody said, you're a star when you make a profit while doing your purpose. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Yes. And it's very similar to what Robin had told me before. You get a gold star when your profit and your purpose are aligned. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. More people are coming in. Fantastic. So the way I would caption this, I think, is very simply something that I told you, I think, before on Monday. Profit and purpose are not mutually exclusive, right? Profit and purpose are not mutually exclusive, or aim for the intersection of profit and purpose, right? Something like that. But anyway, that was just like an idea just to kind of like address, to just get your creative juices flowing. And also because I wanted to a little bit address this idea of like, that's so prevalent, like follow your passion, now what I want to do is I want to address a few of those questions, okay? And again, I want to remind everyone, I'm going to put it in the chat again in case you just joined in and you missed this part. The webinar replay is going to be available till 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight. So I just put it in the chat again. If you want to watch it, I highly encourage you to watch it, but this is going to be my understanding is that it's going to go down. Okay, so here's a few questions that I want to address with you guys. And again, I'll try to do most of them here and also address any questions that you might have. I will hopefully get to as well, but this might also cover some things that you might be thinking about. So the first thing that I came across had a lot to do with people who wrote back to me after the webinar, sharing a tremendous amount of talents, things like, Yael, I'm a good listener and everyone tells me that I have so much clarity and I'm good at helping people think through things. And I'm also like, I'm a connector, I'm a good writer, like a lot of these great things, right? All amazing, wonderful talents, things you're good at, right? Well, somebody just mentioned in the chat. So we were talking about love, but things you're good at, right? We just talked about, we're looking for love, intersection, world needs, and world pays, right? So yeah, so all of these things are amazing things that you are good at, that you've identified. And some people told me, my husband always tells me, my kids know it, right? Like people tell me like, yeah, I know that I'm good at these things. That's awesome. And then here's what came in a lot of these emails. I just can't figure out how to monetize this. And then some people follow that with, I can't justify joining your course until I figure that out. So here's the problem with this. Okay. You just listed me a ton of skills that you're for sure going to be able to capitalize on in a big way. Many of those, yes, because they're your superpower, you'll be able to capitalize on these skills. So it's amazing that we've identified them. Yeah, that's the good news. You've identified them. But here's the question, okay? And I want everybody to notice the question. The question to you is, what problem do you want to help people solve? What exactly is the pain point that you're seeing in the world around you, in your world, and not just that you see it, we see tons of problems, that's fine, but there are certain things that stand out at all that really irk us, we feel so compelled to solve. What is that thing? I want to bring joy through cakes because like when I used to bake for my child, it got me out of my depression. I don't know what the story is, right? Every business has a personal story, right? Or I want to help with divorce because what is the thing? I want to help women grieving. What is the problem, right? What is the problem that you are seeing and you want to help people solve? What is that pain point? Right? And again, the pain point doesn't have to be like pain as in ouch pain, but friction point. Where do you see friction? Like, oh, these mothers can't get the, I don't know, the government support for their, they're just their child with disability, right? But I know how to solve that friction, right? Or they can't get their act together to celebrate their kid's birthday because I don't know what, or they don't know how to save, they don't know how to invest, right? What's the friction points, the pain points that you're seeing that you are feeling compelled to solve? Okay. And once you get clear on that, and we will inside the course, right? Because I'm going to teach you how to look at that, right? Once you get clear on that, then all those amazing talents that you mentioned, like your writing and your speaking and your, clear head and ability to connect and educate and help people think through problems or whatever those things are, right? They're just going to come out naturally, in the thing that you're going to build. Now you're going to be able to utilize them to help solve that problem, to help ease that pain point. So again, what is the issue that I see around me and that I want to, and by the way, I'm uniquely positioned to solve, right? You're going to see very clearly, it's going to jump at you. So many people then when we had this conversation, we're like, oh, I see, it's this thing. And it turns out that I worked in that field for so many years, right? So it starts jumping at you. You're compelled to solve that problem. You've identified it. And you're in a unique position to solve it, whether because you got an education on it, whether it be because you had work experience on it, whether it because you struggled with it and you just learned by doing, right? On the ground, you don't have the degree. I don't care about degrees here. Nobody cares, right? Right. So it makes you uniquely positioned to solve that problem, right? Those of you who know my work, like Tavia, like Blanca, right? Everybody knows that I was teaching and writing. I had a blog for many years. I think it was since like 2013, 2014. And people would ask me to come out and speak. And I was teaching really about Judaism, right? Like for women, right? How to integrate Jewish wisdom into all the areas of their life. And it was all beautiful and fine and dandy, except I wasn't making that much money. And not only that, my work was becoming really, really difficult because anytime I had to write something and anytime I had to get up on a stage, I had to come up with something new, with some new problem, with some new idea. And all of a sudden, after a few years of this, it hit me, I'm actually not helping as many people as I could. Because I realized, I'm talking about Jewish wisdom and spirituality, but we are physical beings. Yes, we are souls with bodies, not bodies with souls. Newsflash, okay? However, we mostly feel our bodies. That means that people are roaming around the world feeling physical ailments that might have a spiritual cause, 100%. However, the first point of connection there is, I have an issue with my husband, with my money, with my child, with my body, with food, or whatever it might be, right? I feel it in my body, right? So I asked myself 1 minute, what are the things that women are struggling in my world? What are Jewish women struggling with? And I identified there were 4 issues. And I looked at those things and I said, I actually don't want to talk about 3 of these for the rest of my life. I have what to say, but not that much to say. I'm not that interested. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I'm a good mother, but like, I don't want to talk about parenting the rest of my life. I don't really have any issues that I'm particularly keen on solving regarding parenting, right? Or whatever the issues were, right? And then there was one thing that just jumped at me. People are struggling with their money, their relationship with money. And guess what? It was like this aha moment. Oh, I had that experience. And it was Judaism that actually helped me. It wasn't my degree in finance. It wasn't my understanding of economics. It wasn't the MBA. Oh my goodness. And I got educated in this and I worked in this. All of a sudden it was like, boom, perfect combination. And then the rest is history, right? Because once I was able to nail what is it that I can help people with, then everything I started building was based on that one thing. right? And then it sort of branches out, right? There's many different things like this, for example, from purpose to profit is not a finance course. It's a monetize your purpose course. And it's actually very much rooted, as you can tell, in Jewish wisdom, right? That's the whole underpinning of it, right? But it also has to do very much with your relationship with money, right? Making money. How do we receive that money? How do we charge? How do we get out of our fears of money and our negative scripts and all the things that I anyway deal with constantly? And where did it come from? Also, this is going to be very important for all of you in the journey. It came from once I started talking about this subject and teaching the subject, what else am I hearing? Right? What am I hearing that people are struggling with? And so when you listen, this was actually credit to Jewish workshops. I picked up the phone and I said, you know what, Jillian? You know what my community is really struggling with? You know what I really want to give them? They want to monetize their thing. They're like itching to put their purpose out in the world and make money at it. It's like they have this void. And to their credit, they were like, oh my goodness, yes, people need this. This is so beautiful. It is so needed, right? So again, I want you to go back. Yes, we have a lot of talents, beautiful talents, and you're going to capitalize on them. But start thinking about what is the issue that you're seeing around you that you're like, oh my gosh, I know I can help people with that. I know I can help bring them joy in that area. I know I can bring them a smile in that area. I know I can bring them healing in that area, right? And once you've, identified this, again, monetizing is really not the issue because like I told you, some people say, well, how do I monetize this thing? I'm going to help you monetize the thing. That's not the issue. The issue is that we're stuck in our head worrying about how to monetize rather than worrying. Again, worry is not we should never be worried. Concerned, preoccupied is a better word. Okay. The use of language is actually very important to me. Okay. So not worry, but concerned, preoccupied. We'd rather, we need to be concerned with what is the pain point that I'm here to solve. Once you identify that, and you will in the course, and not only that, but we're actually going to validate that idea because you might discover that it's an iteration of that initial concept, right? And then you're like, oh my goodness, right? Like and I'm going to teach you how to ask so that you can actually get the feedback so that we can fine tune the idea, right? And I'm going to teach you how to do that. But then we're going to pick one of the many ways to monetize, the easiest one, the one that feels much more natural to you, right? If you're a communicator, right? You could just go live and have like a coaching call. If you're a maker, you're going to make the thing, whatever it is. And then we're going to test that out. We're going to put it in the market. We're going to validate it. We're going to validate the offer. And you know when the offer is validated? When you get paid for it. That's it. And then we're off to the races because then it's a matter of listening and tweaking, right? And tweaking how we sell the thing, how we deliver that value, right? And pricing accordingly. So let's move past that. And I think a lot of these things are going to tie together. Let me get to question number 2 here. Somebody was writing to me that they're in a later stage in life, they've had a career, they actually the financial aspect is not really the problem. The money piece is not the problem. They can afford the course, whatever. What they're really concerned about is, the clock is ticking away. Like, let's say I'm in my 60s or whatever it is, right? And I'm just worried about choosing the quote unquote wrong thing and then not having time to go on into the next idea. So here's and you could type in the chat if you wondered about this, okay, if this is something that you struggled with. And here's what I say to that. Really, 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 guys, there's no wrong thing except not picking something. There's no wrong thing other than not picking something, because the whole idea behind what we're going to do together in this journey is we have to follow the breadcrumbs. It's really in the doing. So if you stay in your head, right, I'm going to stay in my head. And then when I'm ready, then I'm going to do something and join your course or whatever it is. I have a lot of problem with that because you've stayed in your head for the last 30 years, right? You have to get into action mode so that then we can follow those breadcrumbs, right? That first speech that I went out and I gave about Judaism and money, right? And when I heard the response, it was like, oh God, I get it. I get that you do want me to do this, but it was the hardest speech that I ever gave. I was terrified. Who does this? Who speaks about this? Nobody does this, right? All, you name it, everything came at me, but I knew I had to do it because it's not about me, right? And then there's the breadcrumbs. Then it's like, oh yeah, okay, God, I get it. And then there's the questions that the audience asked. And it's like, whoa, this is really needed. Look at these questions, right? And then I see, oh, they need that, right? So breadcrumb number 2, what happens when I do address this pain point, right? What is the feedback that I'm getting, right? And Hashem keeps sending us the messages, those breadcrumbs, and we follow. But we have to be in the doing. We can't be in the thinking. So we're going to get you out of this thinking mode and into action mode. And it's funny that this question came up because I don't know if anybody heard, but this week, I think it aired actually yesterday. It aired a little late. I usually air on Mondays, but this week I aired an episode with Joyce Azria. I'm sure many of you know Joyce. She's the daughter of BCBG's founder, Max Azria. She's a fashion icon. She's a Jewish woman. She's an observant Jewish woman. She's an entrepreneur. And she grew up with a tremendous amount of wealth. She helped her father build her business, and she was very early on. She did a lot of things. She's done a lot of amazing things, and she's been, through ups and downs in business, incredible. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is that during that conversation, we got off on this tangent where Joyce says, oh my gosh, and people think this thing like dream. Like, I want to tell you something. It's not about the dream. I'm like, I know. I went to a school here, a Jewish school in Texas, and they had this massive, I can send you a picture, this massive big letters in the lobby that says, dream big. And I remember I wrote an article for the press about it. And this was Joyce's point too, as she was sharing. You can listen on the podcast. I'm like, I have such problems with this because Judaism doesn't say dream big. You know what Judaism says? Hamaise u ha'ikar. The action is the main thing. So I have a lot of trouble with, let's feed our kids this concept of dream big. Yeah, I'm not saying don't dream big. Like Joyce herself says, like, I have a trillionaire mindset, right? I know how to do big projects, big companies. I'm not saying not that. But the problem, and Joyce said it herself on the podcast, is you stay in the dreaming, nothing happens. You have to do, right? So I think I told you on the webinar, it's almost like, not almost, it actually is. We're building the engine as we're flying the plane. Anybody who's built anything knows that they weren't in thinking mode for most of the time. They were in doing mode. We have to do, because in the doing, right, is how we serve. Imagine all those people who wouldn't have been served if later on in 2018 or whatever it was, I hadn't raised my hand and said, okay, here's what I have to tell you about your issues with money and how Judaism addresses them, right? If I had kept thinking all the million ways I could do this, no, from that one thing, everything came along, but I have to do it, right? So we're going to get into action mode, okay? So this is a very important point. Somebody also said, a third question that I have here is, or a third concern is, I don't want to become bored. Okay, so, I'm in action mode, but I want to become bored. So I want to tell you something. When you're in your zone of genius, which again, this is what we're going for, okay? And it's our zone of genius, not because it capitalizes only on our talents and on what we're good at, but because it serves the world. And that's what our soul wants us to do. So again, it's not just about me. It's what does the world need? Okay. So I don't want to become bored. So when you're in that state, you actually don't become bored. You might evolve in terms of how you deliver that solution to that problem, right? You might get tired of doing it this way or that way. You might find that you're actually not delivering it as well in this format as you could in another format, or technology might evolve in a way that makes it so much more, you for able to deliver on a grander scale. There's so many things that can happen. You can evolve in how it gets to the world, right? But here's the thing. Since when is this about you? Do you hear it? I don't want to become bored. I don't want to become tired. Hello, this is not about you. I don't want to become scared. I don't want to experience the fear, right? It's the same thing as telling me, I don't want to experience the fear that comes with this, right? I can't handle the feeling of being terrified. Oh, really? Right? And so you're back to what I was saying before. So you're going to deprive the world of your gifts, of your potential, because you're scared of your ability to help them solve that thing, of bring them the healing, the joy, the comfort, the whatever it is, right? Because you're scared. Like, really? Really, guys, right? When you also know, we all know that the best things in our life happen on the other side of fear. And isn't that so? Who here has birthed children, right? Having your children, raising your children. That is all very, very scary. Walking into the chuppah. Look, a child learns how to walk. Imagine the child says, no, I'm too scared. I'm never going to take that step, right? We learn how to ride a bike. We learn how to swim, right? So again, this is not about us. The ego is going to tell us that whole story. You don't want to be bored. You don't want to fail. I don't want you to be scared. I want to protect you. Like, come on, let's just call it for what it is and say, okay, I hear you. You're there. You're great. But now I have something to do, right? The action is the main thing and I'm needed and the world needs this. Okay. Okay. And so here's another one. Somebody says to me, actually, there were two people who talked about kind of like the same theme about something that they put out in the world. Okay. So I already put out an offer. And let's say I think one person said, I already made $800 in revenue. So amazing. Like so good. So exciting because now you literally already validated this thing, right? You validated the idea and you validated an offer. So you're in business. Okay, great. So then she says, well, I just put out another offer, but nobody signed up. So this is very common. And by the way, if you've already put out something, but you're not making consistent revenue from it yet, then this course from purpose to profit is actually indefinitely for you. Now, if you're already making consistent revenue every single month, making a couple $1,000s or a lot of thousands of dollars with your signature offer and, many different variations of that offer, you don't really need this course. You need to contact me about something else. You're really ready to scale. Okay. You're in the scaling phase. But here, we are going to work with getting you from that initial seed of an idea to monetizing the idea. Okay. So if you're already like you tested something out, but you're stuck because like you tried it again and you feel like it flopped. Well, let me remind you again, the failure is not really failure. It's feedback. Okay. But let me let somebody else. Hold on. How do I do this? Participants. Okay. But here's what I want you to know. Okay. If you're in that situation, here's the missing piece. And what I want you to, everybody in this room to ask themselves, if you're in that situation, what are you doing to nurture your audience between offers? And when I ask the question often, and I've asked it to many, many people look at me like, what? Like what does that mean? So I'm going to give you an example. Imagine I'm at a Hanukkah party, okay? You're at a Hanukkah party, and this guy comes up to you. You've never met him. You've never exchanged a single word, or world, for that matter. Never exchanged a word in your life. And he stands up to you and he says, hey, come on over to my apartment. Let's spend some time together. What's Blanca? That's the reaction, right? What's your reaction? Creep, get out of my face, right? I don't even know you. You turn around and you walk away, right? Or you go to the car dealer I'm sure this has happened to people. Oh my gosh, this is so typical, right? You go to the car dealer and the car salesman keeps pointing you towards the 2-seater convertible and like all these cars. And you're like, oh my gosh, just get out. Like, stop trying to sell me. Like, can you please ask me about me, right? Can you please show some interest in what my needs are? And not just like assume, right? And you want me to buy the most expensive thing here on the lot. Excuse me, I have a family. I'm a mother. I have 4 children, and also their friends who come with us, right? And like, if you had bothered to get to know my needs, to know me, and then told me all of the reasons why you think then, based on who I am and my preferences and my family's preferences and my lifestyle and my style, right? Why these different cars in your lot would work best, then there would be a conversation. There would be a sale, right? We've got to build relationships. There is no sale without relationships. Sales is an intimate connection. That's it. And it's one that happens very, very easily and very, very naturally, seamlessly. It's organic when there's a relationship. So for example, somebody says, well, I passed out flyers and I put some digital flyers telling people what I do and telling them about perhaps my offer. That's not it, guys. That's not it. And this we're going to learn in the course. What are you doing to nurture them? What are you doing on a consistent basis to help them out? Putting out your flyer about, here's what I do. Here's what I do. Right? Again, it's about me. You. Like, I don't know. Like, what should I even bother? But when you're in their face, helping them, right? Delivering a voice note every day with something that helps them with that issue in parenting or in whatever it is, in baking and crafting, right? Right? Oh my gosh. She has so much to share. She has so much to give. She solved me. She helped me in this and this situation. Somebody just wrote to me something so beautiful that they had heard. Oh, I don't know what happened to my internet. Okay, that they had heard something I put out on There's No Competition. I think I shared with you on Monday, guys, about this idea that there is no real competition. And anyway, so they were sharing with me how amazing, how the reminder hit home so well that I think they worked in insurance for like about 26 years, and they went out and reached out to somebody younger in their community who just started insurance, and they had never really made a connection. And it just reminded him that, look, I am here. I can help this person in this industry. He's starting. I have 26 years experience. He can't take my parnasa. I'm not taking his, right? Nobody can touch my livelihood. Let me reach out and establish a relationship, right? So again, look, we have to set ourselves up in business to deliver value. So what my question to anyone who already is starting to test an idea in the market is, what are you doing to nurture them? What are you doing to give them that experience that by the time you actually offer them something, they're like, oh my gosh, totally. Here's the money. I've just been waiting because I just love your content so much. You totally get me, right? You so get me. You've helped me so much with your free content. You've been there for me so many times in such valuable ways that of course I want to pay you to get more of you, right? So this is the concept. And by the way, like I mentioned on Monday, they want your energy. Your pretty flyer, I don't care how well designed it is, doesn't have your energy, right? Are you going on these, like, let's say we're having this call right now, right? We did a webinar on Monday, right? Are you sending them emails every day or every week where they can capture your energy through the written word? Are you leaving them voice notes or written notes on a WhatsApp group every day or every week? Videos every day or every week, little clips. What are we doing to build the relationship, right? And then through that interaction, guess what happens? They ask you questions, and then you ask questions back, or you initiate the conversation by asking them questions. So now there's this feedback loop where you're getting to know your audience and they're getting to know you. And so now, because you're in action mode, right, you're getting to know them better too, which means that you can refine and deliver a better offer to them, a better service, a better product, right? Right? So I got a ton of emails from people on Monday night and Tuesday telling me about the tremendous amount of value that they just got from that hour webinar, right? I was in front of them. I was delivering value. Whether they're buying the course or not, they walked away with a tremendous amount of value. And some of you might even be here because you felt that there was a tremendous amount of value delivered. So you knew that today I was going to give you more, right? Right? So there's a relationship. And some of you are going to say, yeah, this is the course for me. And some of you are going to say, perhaps not, but something I know is I want to hear more about what she has to say, right? Because you already experienced that. And for some people, by the way, no, that like your energy is not going to be for them. Your tone, it's not going to be, and that's okay. There's for everybody. That just means that you're going to still be out there so that the people who need you and the uniquely way in which you can deliver for them can find you. Right? That's all it means. But we still have to still have the responsibility to be out there. And no, we do not want to be for everybody, because if we're for everybody, we're for nobody, right? So we want to be able to master our message, that delivery, so that it becomes so natural, and it will be. You're going to see it, because I'm going to put you to test yourself out there. You're going to feel like, oh yeah, that was scary. But then when I was in it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I taught this workshop. You know how many times I've heard this, right? I'm so glad I did that WhatsApp series, right? Right. It was scary at first, because like all the things, like, what are my high school friends going to think? By the way, nobody cares. Your Aunt Thelma, your high school friends, your middle school, nobody cares. Oh, but they're going to think I was always working in insurance, and I'm going to teach them how to train their rebellious child. They're going to think I'm crazy. Nobody cares. Only you. Nobody cares. If anything, it's actually the opposite. People are like, whoa, man, that's amazing. I always knew she had something bigger in her, right? She's putting herself out there in such a bold way. Like, wow, that's so interesting, right? If anything, they're going to cheer you along. Nobody cares. So just stop worrying about your eighth grade friends and what they're going to think, okay? Or your Aunt Thelma. Nobody cares. All right. So one last one, and then I'll take questions from the audience. Here's the last one that I heard. And this, I think a lot of you are going to relate to, because a lot of us who are in this mode of thinking about purpose and profit, we are very much helpers, right? We feel the responsibility, right? So somebody said to me, I am a strong believer in helping people and making that help accessible. So I don't know how I could possibly charge. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like something that maybe has gone through your mind? I don't know how I could possibly charge. So let me address that. And again, it goes back to the money story and all that. And thank God we're going to be able to tackle that in the course, okay? If you don't charge and charge appropriately, you're actually hurting them. Listen to me. If you don't charge and charge appropriately, you're actually doing them a disservice. So again, it's about you and your ego, right? It's about that money story, that you don't want anybody to think you're greedy, right? How can I judge? I want to serve. I want to help, right? But really behind that, I want to serve, I want to help, I can't charge, is what are they going to think of me? They're going to think I'm not genuinely of service. I'm just a greedy person who wants their money. So all of a sudden, it's about you, not about them. Because if you actually think about this, if you actually wanted them to change, to experience that joy, that comfort, that pleasure, that healing, that whatever you're solving, bringing them with your solution, right? If you actually, that transformation, if you actually wanted them to change, to experience that, to go from where they are now to where you know they can be, you would actually charge them. Who gets the best results, guys? The person who pays top dollar for the personal trainer, and the personal trainer shows up at 6 a.m, right? And you're on the hook. You can't do anything because you've already paid the guy, and the guy is on your door at 6 a.m, and he's going to make you sweat no matter what. And no matter how much you cry and whine, oh, I went to bed at 2. Oh, I'm still sore from last night. He doesn't care. You paid him. He's going to make sure you get that workout in, right? Who makes better results? Who gets better results? The guy who pays a personal trainer, or the guy who enrolls in the $17 a month gym special? You know the answer, right? You enroll in the $17 a month gym special, and maybe you make it once the week you enrolled, because every excuse in the world is going to come up and stop you from showing up at the gym, right? Because $17 don't mean a thing to you, right? So again, it goes back a little bit, or maybe a lot, to this nurturing piece, which we are going to learn to do in the course. No, you're not greedy. You know why you're not greedy? Because you actually will be delivering a ton of free content. Otherwise, how are you nurturing the world? How are you telling people, right? How are you helping them have a relationship with you? You're going to have so much free content. You have to. Because again, you're not that icky guy who shows up at the Hanukkah party and tells the girl to go to the apartment with him. You're not that icky salesperson who doesn't ask you anything about your lifestyle, and therefore what kind of car will be suited to your lifestyle. You're not that person, right? You're going to be delivering tons of free content to help them out, to get to know them, right? And then there's going to be the people who are going to want to come even closer to you, right? And really have you by their side to help them out, to help them go deeper. And for everybody else, you have a lot of free content, and that's okay, right? You're going to have your, whatever it is. Look, if people, I always tell people, I have 330, I think the 335th episode dropped yesterday, or maybe it was the 334th episodes on my podcast. I show up for people twice a week. Not only that, but I answer their questions on my show every single week. So the answer to every possible question at this point, I think is, we've discussed it, right? Am I not selling? Of course I'm selling, right? There's tons of free value. And then there's tons of people who say, you know what? I've done so well with her on that podcast, but I need a quicker transformation. I want her to be the person, right? And then there's people who want me one-on-one, and they pay top dollar for that. And then there's people who want me, for something else, and they pay, right? So, and then there's people who, thank God, by the way, I want to say, actually, maybe I'll let Jillian also join us here, but thank God that Jewish Workshops is giving us an opportunity to run this program, because this, by the way, is the most affordable way that you're going to get this, because I partner with them. Blanca knows if I would be running this by myself, it would be an entirely different format that Blanca knows, which commands a higher price. So because I knew this was so important, and I was so ready to get it out to a bigger scale and more accessible to people, right? And because I have other sources of revenue, right? I was so happy to do this partnership. So again, all these things happen, but because we're in the doing. So going back to, I'm not comfortable charging them. Again, look at where that is coming from, right? Coming from the ego. No, you're not greedy. You're going to deliver a ton to them, because that's how we make business. We nurture the audience. And that's where you're going to, it's to the person who then everything ties here, because to the person who said, well, I don't want to get bored. You can't get bored, right? Like my husband was saying the other day, like, 300, you're almost at 350 episodes, 7 years of showing up weekly for people. That is huge, right? No, I'm not bored. I don't think I'll ever get tired, right? Because I love it so much, right? And it's like part of the foundation of my business, right? So no, not going to get bored, because when you're of service, right? And then that service helps people, and you come up with ideas to help them even better. And you have different tiered options, and you can help this person at this price point and these people at this different price. Again, we're not going to get too complicated here, but I think you get the picture, right? Again, we're going to get you from idea to offer, to validated offer in the market, from purpose, from that point where, yes, this is where I need to be, to putting out the thing in the market and seeing that you make money at it, right? And then from there, we can start iterating. We first have to get you there, right? That's the initial thing that my goal is, that you're going to see now, I know how to get to a place where I'm actually charging for this. And once you're doing that, it's all momentum. It's all momentum, because once I started charging for that $99 course that I told you about, Blanca, I think was the first student ever to join that course, by the way. Like literally, I think you were the first email that came in who had joined, right? Then Blanca, tell me if not everything that I've built has been built after that, like exponentially. You know how many iterations of that program I have built, including this one. This is just a snippet, much more in depth, of something that we touched upon way back then, 5 years ago. Well, what else? Almost 4 years ago, right? Again, and so many of my programs and everything. Okay, so I want to actually put in the chat. I'm going to answer questions now. I want to put in the chat for those of you who are like, okay, yes, first of all, you want to catch the webinar. I can put that again, but also here's a sign up sheet, the sign up to, if we want to sign for the program. I'm going to give you the webinar replay as well. And also I want to give the mic, and I want to give you co-host rights also, Jillian. And look at questions. So while I do that, I'm going to read questions here on the chat, because I know there were many, but I just wanted to make sure that I cover this. So for the next 10, 15 minutes, let's answer questions. Let me see here. 1 second. I just want to make sure that, Jillian, where are you? Made you a co-host, in case you wanted to put something in the chat and interact. Sorry, I was so into my zone of, genius that I didn't look. I forgot to do that. Okay, let's see. How do you help your clients build up their business, help them develop a presence? That, I think we've addressed that, Esther. Yes, we do help them develop a presence. It's so important, right? That nurturing, right? And there is one part of the course, besides from the nurturing, where we do address the now really establishing authority, right? Which is just like now a higher level, but it starts with that nurturing, right? We gotta get in that habit of the consistency of that email or that WhatsApp group or that LinkedIn thing, or I don't care what avenue you choose. We just have to choose one and start doing it, right? It's all in the doing. And obviously the one that's easiest, more natural to you, where your people tend to hang out, okay? I don't think I understand the question on life insurance. Okay. Yes, I agree with you, Blanca. We don't become bored when we accomplish, right? Hopefully, thank you. That's so kind. You get energized when you fulfill your purpose. 100%, 100%. I'm glad you said that, because my kids always say, like, I come out of a class, right? I teach a group coaching program, or I'll get out of a coaching call, or I'll get out of recording a podcast, and I'll walk out of that door of my office. And this is the typical, like, my family's like, okay, what now, Mom? Because I come out on a high. Right. And my husband's like, oh, you're blushing. Like, you're so excited, right? Because it's so exciting, because you're helping people in a way that just feels so natural to you. Can you explain what you mean by offer? What constitutes an offer? Thank you, Kaya. So an offer is a very broad way to say the thing that you've crafted that you're going to help them with. Again, it could be a product, or it could be a number of, we mentioned on Wednesday's webinar, a number of iterations of a service. A service typically is something that you do for somebody else. Let's say you're a copywriter, you write their copy. Let's say you are a professional organizer, you go and you organize their house. However, there are many other types of services that are not doing for people, but helping people do, right? Helping people do for themselves. So like more like coaching, and coaching could be one-on-one coaching, or it could be group coaching, or it could be memberships, or it could be you run a workshop where you help people, how to invest in the stock market, or how to DIY a lot of aspects of their wedding, right? Or you do a many part workshop or a boot camp, right? All of these are different offers. Does that make sense? So we're going to learn what all these things are, and then we're going to pick one that makes sense to you, depending on who you are, how you like best to deliver the thing. So again, if you need to sew your dolls to put them out the market, okay, so you're putting a product, right? And then we have to learn how to craft the story behind the product, right? If you're doing something that is more of either a workshop or a boot camp or a course, or, you know, another type of thing where you interact more with people, well, hopefully you're a person who like thrives doing that, right? And most of us, by the way, if we're helping somebody with a problem, right, most of us are very comfortable talking about it. Do you help your clients with marketing, websites, how to get out there? How to get out there, I think we've established that, yes. I'm not going to help you in terms of teaching you how to build a website, right? Because again, I want to make sure you understand that the real problem, we tend to think the real problem is, I don't have a website. I don't have a this. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to this. That's not the real problem. The real problem is we don't know how to have a system where we go from idea to asking for feedback and taking the courage to ask the questions and putting ourselves out there, hearing the feedback, putting it out there. Now that we collected feedback, putting it out there as an offer, as something that I'm actually charging you for, and then taking that feedback. That's the really scary part. I want to tell you a little secret. I actually do not have a website. We've been working on my website for about 2 years. It's been the longest, most dramatic thing of my life. If you actually Google me, you can do that. So you can take a big laugh at me. Okay. Everything I've built. I have a podcast that's award-winning, 335 episodes, Jewish Money Matters podcast. You know where it's hosted? In that junky website from 2013 called Jewish Latin Princess. Blanca, you remember those days when I used to blog at Jewish Latin Princess, right? And despite that, I have a coaching program. I have a membership. I have courses with Jewish workshops. I have one-on-one clients. So I want you to know this is not the thing that's stopping you. It's not having a website.
Your website is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your website.
There you go, Yermi. LinkedIn, or your WhatsApp group. Again, it's you. People need you. They don't need my website. Yes. Do I have sales pages? Yes, I have tons of those things I learned over the years. Are they better every time? Yes, they are better because then I have more revenue. I pay better people. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But when I started, Blanca, did we not start with a class that was a $99 course and everything was in a Google Drive? Did you ever complain? Everything was in a Google Drive. Guys, on the third week, you know what all of them said? Wait, is it true that we're ending the course next week? Do you remember that, Blanca? They didn't say, oh, this junky course, you put everything on a Google Drive. We don't like you anymore. Sorry, we hate you. No, because it's not about that. It's about how much you give of yourself to them. It's about your value. It's about the energy. They wanted more. They knew they could trust me. They knew there was value here, right? And then I showed up for them again. I said, okay, tell me what you want. I'm going to build it for you. We're going to do this again, another 4 weeks. And then I was off to the races because then I did this again and I ran it in Spanish. And then I ran it in 6 weeks in Spanish. And then I did it in 8 weeks. And then I made it into a 10-week program. And then the 10-week program, I launched it in English. And then I kept running it in English. And then I had a WhatsApp group in Spanish. And that, don't even ask. Like so much from there. Thank God. Like, I'm not saying that to show you, oh, I'm so good. Like I built this thing. I'm there to show you. Thank God, because now all the people whose lives have been touched because I didn't let myself say, oh, I don't have a website, right? You know how many people text me and leave me reviews? Thank you for that conversation on the podcast episode. This just changed my wife and my life, right? We listened to it together. We are in such a better place because you shared that on the show. Thank you for answering my question. This was life-changing. That's what I want for you guys. And the show, look, it's on Apple. It ain't have a website. I'm still waiting. Lloyd, if you're listening, I'm waiting. You're a great developer. We got to finish that project. Okay. How do you feel about Instagram or Facebook Live to launch your offer? And as far as the content about the live, is it more important to talk about what I'm offering versus what they need, what I'm offering, or both? So again, it's consistency. Okay. So again, if you now all of a sudden just show up on Facebook Live and come up with an offer and you tell them your offer, but you've never really consistently showed up for them, right? You might come back at me and say, oh, why am I not getting sales, right? So yes, I'm going to encourage you to pick whether you like Instagram, whether you like Facebook Live, or do you like LinkedIn, like Yermi suggested, right? Which, by the way, I'm like totally loving Yermi. I mean, not Yermi. Yermi, I like you too, but I'm totally loving LinkedIn. I said that because we actually met on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is a great tool. It has like, it just has such a positive energy. Like the people are just like amazing. At least that's been my incredible experience. So Blanca, that's the point. The point is the nurturing, right? And as I'm nurturing, then obviously it's like when I used to have that WhatsApp group in Spanish and I had this messages every single day. And then once a week I was answering questions actually, like when I was ready to do a workshop, my workshops like off the chart, like people would sign up, hundreds of women from Latin America signing up to do a workshop on personal finance. And I would sell, I would charge for this workshop, right? So it all has to do with the nurturing, the consistency and being there for people. And that they, by the way, they now know that you are there for them. So you're for them. And when they have their friend who has a similar issue, oh no, you want Blanca. Oh no, you want Yael Trush, right? How many emails do I get? Oh, this person told me I should contact you. My husband and I are having some financial issues, blah, 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 right? Okay. It doesn't matter where, it's about the content and the person delivering the message. Yes, Tavia, you got it. Okay, I got it. You're amazing. Thank you. That's very sweet. Okay, I've published many articles. I don't have much of a social media presence. How do I grow my group? Okay, perfect. So this is a great question. So somebody says, look, I don't want to do social media. I'm not into it. Okay. Do you want to do WhatsApp? Do you like WhatsApp? You have like, do you want to do a live session where you invite the people in your community into your house and you teach them the thing every single day? And we need to find the way, right? Is it a blog? Is it LinkedIn consistently, right? Again, is it email? I'm a big fan of things that you can own and you don't depend on the algorithm, right? So an email list is something that anybody who's subscribed to my email list, I have like an incredible 45% open rate because I'm very consistent. My voice is very consistent, right? I put a lot of effort into my copy. I don't hand it off to anyone. Maybe I should, but I just enjoy it too much. So I don't. Okay. And people get to know me a lot, right? Through the emails, right? I purposefully deliver a ton of value through those emails, perhaps more than I do on social media. A lot of my social media is honestly recycling what I put in that newsletter because really my heart and soul goes into that newsletter. Okay. So maybe you're an email type of person. And I think that's great because you own that list. It's yours. You don't depend on what Mark Zuckerberg decides is cool these days. Like you put out, written content, but he wants videos or he wants images or who knows what, he wants carousels, like, so, WhatsApp groups are also nice because many people, especially in the Jewish community, are on WhatsApp and they're very used to interacting on WhatsApp. So I want you to think about that. And a lot of that content, Kaya, that you've published, I do the same thing because I write for different publications. A lot of that we learn to repurpose, right? Into the newsletter, into the social media, into my podcast. A lot of my written content that goes out because people don't necessarily get it, right? It's your message, right? But some people are going to get it via audio, via written word, via, the Chabad.org website, the Asia website, the whatever website, right? And some people are going to get it through your email. You can have a blog. Okay. Anonymous says, what if you don't need the money, which makes it hard to justify pushing through the obstacles and time limitations and family commitments? What a nice question. So again, you don't need the money. There are time limitations, family commitments. So how do I push myself? So I want you to think about something I was talking about, I'm trying to work on a book, and I'm saying it here almost to like for you guys to make me accountable, and then we'll wrap it up. And I want to actually put again the link for those of you who are like, yay, I want to join. Oh, and by the way, we have a free, a nice surprise for people who are joining today. If you're joining on this call, you're going to also enter into that raffle that Jillian talked about on Monday, a raffle for a one-on-one coaching call with me. So listen to me, extra accountability. So I was talking with a coach yesterday about the book, and he was like, yeah, Elle, you need to create external accountability. So why am I saying this? Okay. What is it that's holding, meaning that's not really what I was going to. It's not about the external accountability. It's about you have an obligation and a responsibility. And once you internalize this, Anonymous, that this is about you having a responsibility to the world, then you're going to come out and do it. And you're going to do it and work it around the family commitments. Because guess what? It's going to make you a more fulfilled you. And your family is going to see, wow, that version of mom or of grandma is so awesome, right? I'm not, God forbid, I would never say to put your family last. No, like, no, that's not the way it goes in my family. And that's not what I would ever say to anyone. What I'm saying is you have to internalize, God has given me gifts, talents, that toolkit that I talked about on Monday, right? All the challenges, the experiences, the internal resources, the talents, the gifts, all of it, right? I have a responsibility to put it out there. If not now, when, right? So if right now you're feeling like, look, I'm actually in a very good position because I don't even need to deal with the pressure of like, I need to make money tomorrow, right? Then all the more so, I need to be doing this. And yes, I will work it around like anything that's important to us. We do it. And we also do our family, like, right? We also do life commitments with it, right? If you were volunteering for something that was really, really important, you would work it around with your family commitments too. Well, this is the same idea. I am serving the world with this product. So many people need me. So my children know there's a certain time of day when mom is off. She is fully teaching and serving her clients, right? And then there's a time where all my clients know after 2:00, I'm not available. I don't take any coaching clients after 2:00. I don't record any podcast after 2:00. I don't care who you are, right? So do you see what I'm saying, Anonymous? Okay, amazing. Jillian, do you want to tell them about the raffle, even though I already told them? Is she here?
Yeah, I'm right here. Thanks so much. Yes, I would just love to announce again, if you were on Monday's webinar or if you missed it and you're still listening to the recording, we decided to team up with Yael again for today, and all of the people who made this extra effort to come and listen today, you will get entered into a raffle when you register to buy. In the next several hours, we'll keep an eye out and we will make sure that you get automatically entered into that raffle for a special one-on-one consultation with Yael for a coaching session, just you and her. It's extremely special because, again, we know that Yael's time is so priceless. We weren't able to even add that into our package. We put so much value into the package, and this is an extra special bonus that we threw in at the end for everyone who's really showing that extra bit of urgency to go out and get this product and this package so that you can really start fulfilling your purpose and taking that and making a profit from it. So we're so excited. We can't wait to start the course. We've already have people who have listened to module 1.
Yeah.
They're sharing their feedback in our special WhatsApp group. That is taking off like crazy. It's so exciting.
So beautiful. Are you seeing what they're saying?
Yes.
It's unbelievable, Jillian.
I get all of the notifications and people are writing and you're answering, and it's wonderful to see. The energy is infectious. I mean, if you aren't part of it yet, please go now.
Yeah, nice.
I'll put the link right here. It's yaeltrush.com/profit. You can actually just copy and paste that right into another browser and go straight to the registration page. You'll see all of the details. Again, if you missed it on Monday, all of the details are on that page. a 6-week course, which will all be delivered to your email inbox week by week so that you don't have to worry about scheduling a time and a day to be somewhere. You can listen to it at your convenience. Plus, we have 2 live Q&As so that you'll, again, get more time with Yael to get your questions answered. And of course, this WhatsApp group is a special bonus so that while you're listening to the modules, if you have questions about your own personal business and the steps that you need to take, you can come back and put those questions in. It's a group of like-minded individuals. We're all here for the same reason. So it is really wonderful to see people supporting each other. And then of course, getting the guidance from Yael right there in the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions or if you need help registering, I'm going to go ahead and just put our email address in here too. It's jewishworkshops@jewishworkshops.com. We are happy to help you register. We do have payment plan options available. We're really here to try and meet your needs and help you along this journey. Nobody's trying to, throw a product at you and leave you alone and say, good luck and watch you jump. We're absolutely going to, hold your hand throughout the way. As I said, with Yael's guidance, a supportive group of like-minded individuals. And of course, us here at Jewish Workshops, we're here to help with any technical aspects. If you'd like to stay anonymous with any of your questions, you can always send them to us. We will post those in the WhatsApp group, or we will make sure to get those answered on those live Q&As. But we're really here to make sure that you are most comfortable in your journey and that we watch you succeed.
Amen to that.
Amen.
And guys, I will push you, but I will push you gently. I will push you, but I will cheer you along. I'm not going to throw you.
Yael,
Yeah,
have you had Beryl Solomon on for your Spanish audience? He speaks.
I know he speaks Spanish too. I haven't had him on. We tried to get him on the show for a while. If you want to do a connection, that would be great because I think he would be great on the podcast.
Reach out to him. And COL, of course, Mika Sofer. Have you been on? That's a huge audience. COL Live?
No, but that is a good idea. Hear me? Let's talk. Right. I didn't. I once advertised a program on COL, a different program. Jillian just put out that email. That's very good in case anybody needs more support. And of course, I think everybody knows at this point where to reach out to me also. If you're still, you need more hand-holding to help you through this decision or whatever. I think this is the best thing you could ever do because I do believe in this. I was telling my list earlier this week. I believe in the things I put out there so much, and I believe in my students so much that I have a moral responsibility to keep talking about this program, this course for the next few days. If you don't want to hear about it, that's great. Click here. You don't have to, but I will fulfill my responsibility to be sharing with the world that this is open. And it's open now and the doors are going to close. So be sure to jump in or reach out to me ASAP or to Jillian. Thank you guys for being here. Again, you get to, if you buy today, as Jillian said, you get to enroll in a raffle as she'll announce who gets the one-on-one coaching call with me. Thank you so much. Have a good Shabbos. And I hope to see you inside from Purpose to Profit. Bye.
God bless you.